Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION World One, and this is World DNA with me, Sanae Takaichi.
And I'm Diksha Bisla, and coming up on the show today, Ukraine and Russia are escalating their war, with both sides vowing fresh attacks after one of Moscow's deadliest strikes on Kyiv in recent months. At least 27 people were killed as Russia unleashed a massive overnight barrage, prompting Ukraine to promise retaliation and renewed calls for tougher sanctions on Moscow. We're going to get you all the details on the show today. Stay tuned.
Also on the show, India and Japan have strengthened their long-standing strategic partnership, signing a new memorandum of cooperation and reaffirming their commitment to expand collaboration across trade, investment, and regional security. Now, the agreements were sealed during summit-level talks between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Japanese counterpart, Sanae Takaichi. We'll get you all the details on that. Let's begin with the headlines.
The death toll from Venezuela's twin earthquakes has risen to 2,595 as thousands are still reported missing. Government says that there are no plans for mass graves for those killed in the June 24 disaster.
Ukraine and Russia vow fresh escalation after Moscow launches massive barrage in Kyiv, killing 27 people. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says his forces would definitely retaliate.
A bomb blast at a cafe in Syria's Damascus has killed at least 9 people and wounded 20. The bombing took place near the capital's Palace of Justice, which is a key government building.
Iran unveils coffin of former Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei in Tehran as the country prepares days of mass funeral rites. Funeral events will begin over the weekend in Tehran, with mass processions planned next week in Qom and Mashhad.
Germany scraps the right to call in sick without a doctor's note as part of a package of sweeping reforms to revive the economy. The package also includes income tax cuts worth 10 billion euros and raises retirement age past 67 years.
The U.S. Marine Corps Silent Drill Platoon performs its signature precision rifle drill in New York's Times Square as part of celebrations marking the 250th anniversary of U.S. independence and the Marine Corps.
India and Japan unveil a raft of initiatives including an economic partnership framework and a defense pact to co-develop military hardware. The agreements came as Prime Minister Narendra Modi held summit-level talks with his Japanese counterpart, Sanae Takaichi.
Tesla delivered over 480,000 vehicles in the second quarter, beating Wall Street forecasts and signaling a sales rebound. But despite the strong results, shares sank 7% as investors weighed long-term growth concerns.
Spain cruised past Austria into the FIFA World Cup last 16 with a 3-0 win in Los Angeles. The win sets a clash with Portugal in the next round.
Portugal secure a last 16 spot with a drama-filled victory over Croatia in the Football World Cup. An injury-time winner sealed the win before Croatia's last-gasp equalizer was ruled out for offside. Now, Russia has launched what Ukrainian officials say was its biggest barrage of the war so far.
The hours-long drone and missile attack killed at least 27 people and left dozens more injured. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has vowed a response, saying Russia will face retaliation for the strikes.
Now, the attack caused major damage across Kyiv. In the southeastern Donetsk district, part of a high-rise residential building was destroyed. Smoke rose over parts of the city as emergency crews worked through the aftermath. Rescue teams searched damaged buildings while residents tried to recover what they could.
Thankfully, the door didn't get jammed. We managed to get out quickly. My apartment is completely destroyed. On the 9th floor, everything has been blown out. The windows, the windowsills, the light fixture on the ceiling, even the bathroom door was blown off. It's horrifying to see what's happened everywhere.
Now, according to the Ukrainian Air Force, Russia launched 496 drones and 74 missiles between late Wednesday and early Thursday. The barrage included ballistic missiles, which are among the hardest to intercept. Officials described it as one of the largest coordinated attacks since the start of the full-scale invasion.
This was the first time I'd ever been so close to this kind of danger. When ballistic missiles had been flying before, they were never this close. They landed behind us or somewhere else in the district, but they'd never struck right at our building. I'll remember this for the rest of my life.
As air raid sirens sounded across the capital, thousands of people rushed underground for safety. The Kyiv metro said around 52,000 people sheltered inside metro stations during the attack, including about 4,500 children. It was the highest number recorded in recent years. Many people in Kyiv regularly head to metro stations or building basements when alerts are issued. Others choose to stay at home, saying months of repeated attacks and disrupted sleep have left them exhausted.
Well, the strikes also hit Kyiv's Paladin Institute of Biochemistry. Images from the site show damaged buildings and laboratories. Researchers at the National Academy of Sciences facility said that several labs were destroyed, while a small number of research animals had to be evacuated.
The attacks have also renewed concerns about Ukraine's cultural heritage at Kyiv's Holodomor Museum. Staff have started removing exhibits from display and packing them for relocation. The museum is dedicated to the Holodomor, the man-made famine of the 1930s that killed millions of Ukrainians under Soviet leader Joseph Stalin.
The latest barrage came just hours after President Zelensky cut short a visit to Dublin. He said intelligence reports had warned of a major Russian attack. After the strike, Zelensky said that Russian President Vladimir Putin had been preparing the assault for some time. The attack also comes as Ukraine has increased its own long-range drone operations inside Russia. In recent weeks, Ukrainian forces have targeted energy infrastructure and military facilities. Russian officials have reported repeated strikes in border regions, while Moscow says its air defense systems have intercepted hundreds of Ukrainian drones over the past several days. And now shifting our focus to Syria, a bomb exploded at a cafe in central Damascus, killing at least 9 people and injuring 20 others.
Now, this explosion happened near the Palace of Justice, one of the capital's main government buildings, sending people running as panic spread through the busy area.
These are the images showing a fire truck arriving near the Palace of Justice shortly after the explosion. Officials have secured the area, closed off nearby streets, and they've begun collecting evidence. No group has immediately claimed responsibility for the attack, as the investigation is still underway.
We were inside the shop when the explosion happened. We went outside and saw the explosion. We heard the explosion while we were inside. We saw the dead and the wounded. After that, we went outside and they closed the shops around us. In 5 minutes, the security forces were here. 3 minutes, the security forces and the medics were here.
Now, the bombing is the latest security incident to hit Damascus since the country's new government came to power following the overthrow of Bashar al-Assad. Although the political transition marked a major turning point for Syria, the capital has continued to experience attacks. The deadliest attack during this period took place in June last year. A bombing attack at a church in Damascus killed 25 people. Iran's Islamic Revolution turned 47 years old this February.
And in the same month, its supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was assassinated. Now, over 4 months later, the country is preparing to bid final farewell to the late leader.
Ya Hussein, Shabawaram, Kosse yeki dota keni, Mole qame.
Iran unveiled the coffin of former Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei in Tehran as preparation for the funeral prayers and procession gains pace. According to Iran state media, more than 20 million people are expected to attend the last rites in Tehran alone. Close to 35 million people are expected to attend overall across cities.
Now, the Supreme Leader is not just a figurehead of the Iranian government, but he serves as a guiding light for Shia Muslims around the world. As Iran readies itself to hold last rites of Ali Khamenei, it has only one reference point, the funeral of its first Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khamenei.
On 6th June 1989, millions of Iranians turned out to witness the burial of Ayatollah Khamenei. Crowd performed traditional mourning ritual of beating their chests. The wails of women cut through the noise, and mourners rushed the casket, causing the 86-year-old religious leader's white-wrapped body to tumble out into the crowd.
Around 1/6 of Iranian population was present at the funeral, and this amounts to 10.2 million people, making it the largest population to attend a funeral. It was recognized as such by Guinness World Records.
The second largest funeral gathering took place in 2020 when Qasem Soleimani was assassinated by U.S. in a drone attack near Baghdad airport. His body was carried through several Iraqi and Iranian cities before reaching his hometown of Kerman.
Similar scenes unfolded there as well. Crowd rushed and they collapsed the barriers, killing at least 56 people and injuring more than 200.
Now, the wheel of time has brought the country at a similar juncture. Khamenei's funeral procession will be watched around the world. The officials appear determined to ensure Khamenei's funeral demonstrates country's ability to handle one of the most consequential events in its history.
The farewell ceremonies will be conducted on July 3rd and 4th at the Grand Musalla Prayer Complex. A procession ceremony will begin on July 6th to go through some of the holiest cities in Shia Islam. The procession will start in Iran's capital, from where mourners will follow the procession to the holy city of Qom. From here, the mortal remains will be transferred for a procession in Iraq. It will come back to Iran and subsequently reach Mashhad. The late Supreme Leader will then be buried at the holy shrine of Imam Reza on July 9th. All right, and moving on, in a remarkable rescue operation, an international team pulled a man alive from the rubble 8 days after Venezuela's twin earthquakes.
Now, the survivor, Hernan Gil, a 43-year-old security guard, had been trapped beneath the debris of a 7-story building in Katia La Mar, one of the worst hit areas in the disaster. Gil was buried inside the security booth where he was on duty when the building collapsed. He survived for over a week underground before rescuers located and safely extricated him from the rubble.
The rescue has emerged as a rare moment of hope amid the devastation caused by the twin earthquakes. The death toll from twin earthquakes has now risen to 2,595, as thousands are still reported missing.
The powerful quakes which struck Venezuela last week flattened buildings, damaged critical infrastructure, triggering a major humanitarian response. Search and rescue teams from countries having been working round the clock to search for survivors and deliver emergency aid to affected communities. After months of conflict between U.S. and Europe and ahead of next week's NATO summit in Ankara, Germany, it seems, is pushing America to allow more American weapons to be built on German soil.
Well, a Financial Times report states that Germany is seeking to plug Europe's military gaps while giving Donald Trump a reason to remain invested in the continent's defense.
The report states that German officials have been asking Americans to agree to a co-production deal. Now, this push is part of a broader attempt by Europe to use their defense industrial capacity to get their relationship back on track with the U.S.
When he was asked about Europe's goal to reduce dependence on the United States, German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius said that no one has said that aiming for more independence in the defense industry means being committed only to purely European systems. That is not the case, and it will not be the case in the future either.
Reports suggest that both countries are looking to strengthen their defense capabilities, particularly in co-production of long-range Tomahawk missiles and PAC-3, which is the most advanced form of missiles used by Patriot air defense systems. However, even as Germany presses defense collaboration, it added that America needs Europe too.
Well, Pistorius said, and I'm quoting him here, "We know that U.S. production capacity is also limited and urgently needs to be expanded. That's why we're very interested in building certain systems or parts of systems here in Germany."
Meanwhile, Chancellor Friedrich Merz said that he saw no contradiction between the co-production drive and European efforts to become less dependent on the U.S. He in fact added that it is part of a broader European effort to rebalance the alliance without breaking the transatlantic link. In a hint to Donald Trump, who keeps calling EU's role out in NATO, he said, "As Europeans, we are taking more responsibility in NATO. We are reducing one-sided transatlantic dependencies."
Now remember, US and German defense companies already have a few pads. Rheinmetall is producing fuselages for Lockheed Martin F-35 fighter jets. It's also involved in the setting up of the new MBDA Raytheon facility to make PAC-2 and GEM-T Patriot missiles. So how does this move by Germany benefit both sides? Well, for starters, building critical US weapons in Germany would help Washington tackle the capacity problems that it is facing due to the Iran war. It
would also help countries such as Germany obtain weapons more quickly as they race to rearm in the Russia-Ukraine war. Plus, U.S. defense contractors are reportedly struggling with large order backlogs and bottlenecks in key components. So essentially, Berlin's main aim is to fill in the gaps that Washington may have in its defense capabilities. But the question is, will Donald Trump agree to this?
And France has officially set the stage for its next presidential election, a contest that could potentially reshape the country's political landscape.
Right. And with Macron's presidency entering its final phase, all eyes are now on the far-right National Rally and other key players.
Well, France will hold the first round of its next presidential election on April 18, 2027. With a runoff scheduled for May 2nd, now the dates are set to be formally approved by the Council of Ministers.
Seront les mêmes qu'à l'habitude. Il y a une période de réserve, il y a des dates.
The rules will be the same as usual. There is a pre-election period, and dates have been set in light of the various constraints and requirements that apply to us. The first are constitutional, and the second have once again been shared with all the political parties. We could have chosen other dates, but we would probably have been criticized for them in view of the school holiday calendar.
Now, the election is widely viewed as the best opportunity yet for Marine Le Pen's anti-immigration national rally to win the French presidency. According to opinion polls, the far-right party is leading the first round of voting. But a major question remains, who will be its candidate?
Well, Marine Le Pen is hoping to make her fourth bid for the presidency. However, her political future now hinges on a July 7th appeals court decision. The verdict will determine whether a 5-year ban from holding elected office remains in place. Now, Le Pen has challenged the earlier verdict over an alleged European Parliament fake job scandal.
Now, if the ban is upheld, the National Rally could be forced to turn to Jordan Bardella as its presidential candidate. In recent weeks, Bardella has moved to build his own profile. He's offering views on pension reform, meeting investors, and stepping up his international engagement.
Now, with the election dates now set and a crucial legal decision just days away, France's race to power is already taking shape.
Now, Peru's presidential race was marred by election day hiccups, repolling, and 22 days of vote counting.
And even after the announcement of official results, Peru's race to power is entering a new phase, and this time in the legal arena.
Now, defeated leftist candidate Roberto Sanchez is challenging the results, alleging irregularities in overseas voting. He is preparing to take his case to the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights.
And this comes just 2 days after the election results were announced, declaring right-wing candidate Keiko Fujimori as the winner of presidential race.
Roberto Sanchez's appeal follows his rejected request to annul the overseas vote. Peru's national jury of the elections dismissed those claims, and they said the allegations were unfounded. Sanchez argues there was a change in the rules preventing the digitalization of tally sheets for votes cast at Peru's consulates abroad during the runoff.
Now, Peru's electoral authority says Keiko Fujimori won the presidency with 50.13% of the vote. Sanchez left compare with 49.86%. And for Sanchez, the National Jury of Elections is expected to formally proclaim the Fujimori as president-elect this week.
Now, Fujimori's victory adds to a broader political trend across Latin America, where a number of right-wing leaders have recently won office. From Atacama Desert to Guatemala, around a dozen countries are now ruled by conservative parties, and notable exceptions of Brazil and Mexico, where left-wing governments are in power.
A prominent Hong Kong bookseller who became an international symbol of resistance to Chinese censorship has died in Taiwan.
Lam Wing-Ki, who was detained by Chinese authorities after selling books critical of Beijing's leadership, passed away in Taipei at the age of 70 after battling lung cancer.
Well, Lam Wing-Ki rose to global attention in 2015 when he disappeared along with 4 other booksellers linked to Hong Kong's Causeway Bay books. Well, a store known for selling politically sensitive titles banned in mainland China. Months later, Lam resurfaced in Chinese custody, where he later said that he had been abducted by mainland agents, held in solitary confinement, and forced to deliver a televised confession.
His detention sparked international outrage and fueled concerns over Beijing's growing influence in Hong Kong, undermining confidence in the one country, two systems framework. Fearing further persecution, Lam fled to Taiwan in 2019 as Hong Kong's pro-democracy movement gathered momentum. A year later, he reopened Causeway Bay Books in Taipei, turning it into a symbol of free expression and resistance against political repression.
According to Taiwanese media, Lam had been battling stage 4 lung cancer after the disease returned last year. He was hospitalized in Taipei earlier this week before falling into a coma, and he died on Thursday at the age of 70. His death comes as Hong Kong's once vibrant opposition movement has largely been dismantled following Beijing's sweeping national security crackdown, leaving Lam remembered by supporters as one of the city's most enduring voices for press freedom and free expression.
All right, we're stepping into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. News and updates will follow on the other side on World DNA. Just a reminder to our viewers in India, you can watch all 2026 FIFA World Cup matches on Z5. Tune in and catch all the action.
Get the latest updates. Breaking news. Credible, clear, continuous. Experts across aisles. Diverse voices, one platform. WION World is one.
The Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. More than 200,000 civilian homes have been destroyed. This looks like it used to be a toy for a little girl. Can't but wonder while I'm walking between all of this rubble, how many lives were destroyed, how many kids were traumatized, how many women lost their families. If this isn't a war crime, then what is? From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Redi Francis for WION World is One.
Campaigns, elections, alliances, controversies, and power play. Stories that analyze global and domestic politics. A dedicated show with varied perspectives, expert take, citizens' voices, detailed ground reports, and in-depth coverage from political corridors of the world. This is Race to Power, only on WION.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide, because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is One.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION, World is One.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION The World this one, and this is World DNA with me, Jyotsna Kumar, and our colleague Disha Bisla. Let's begin with the headlines.
The death toll from Venezuela's twin earthquakes has risen to 2,595 as thousands are still reported missing. Government says there are no plans for mass graves for those who were killed in the June 24 disaster.
Ukraine and Russia vow fresh escalation after Moscow launches massive barrage on Kiev, killing at least 27 people. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says his forces would definitely retaliate.
A bomb blast at a cafe in Syria's Damascus has killed at least 9 people and wounded 20. The bombing took place near the capital's Palace of Justice, a key government building.
Iran unveils coffin of former Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei in Tehran as the country prepares days of mass funeral rites. Funeral events will begin over the weekend in Tehran, with mass processions planned next week in Qom and Mashhad.
Germany scraps the right to call in sick without a doctor's note as part of a package of sweeping reforms to revive the economy. The package also includes income tax cuts worth 10 billion euros and raises retirement age past 67 years.
The U.S. Marine Corps Silent Drill Platoon performs a signature precision rifle drill in New York's Times Square as part of celebrations marking the 250th anniversary of U.S. independence and the Marine Corps.
India and Japan unveil a raft of initiatives including an economic partnership framework and a defence pact to co-develop military hardware. The agreements came as Prime Minister Narendra Modi held summit-level talks with his Japanese counterpart, Sanae Takaichi.
Trump defense is urging crypto profits, saying there's nothing improper about his investments. The comments come as critics renew concerns over potential conflicts of interest between his financial holdings and federal crypto policy.
Spain cruised past Austria into the FIFA World Cup last 16 with a 3-0 win in Los Angeles. The win sets up a clash with Portugal in the next round.
Portugal secure last 16 spot with a drama-filled victory over Croatia in the Football World Cup. An injury-time winner sealed the win before Croatia's last-gasp equalizer was ruled out for offside.
India and Japan have unveiled a 16-point roadmap to deepen their special strategic and global partnership, signaling a major expansion of cooperation beyond traditional trade and investment.
Now, the comprehensive roadmap announced after the 16th India-Japan Annual Summit in New Delhi places economic security, AI, defense-resilient supply chains, and clean energy at the center of bilateral ties.
Now, following delegation-level talks, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi unveiled 3 key policy documents. The first was the India-Japan Joint Declaration on Economic Security, which call for project-based collaboration in 5 priority sectors, and that is semiconductors, critical minerals, ICT, clean energy, and pharmaceuticals.
Now, the second was the joint statement on cooperation in the field of artificial intelligence. Both countries agreed to build a safe, secure, and trustworthy AI ecosystem through joint research, computing infrastructure, foundation, AI models, cybersecurity, and talent development. Both the countries reaffirmed their commitment to facilitate the movement of 500 highly skilled Indian AI professionals to Japan by 2030.
Now, the third key policy document was the joint statement on energy resilience. India and Japan adopted a new framework focusing on strategic petroleum reserves, hydrogen, clean ammonia, battery supply chains, biofuels, and renewable energy. They also launched the India-Japan Cooperative Biogas for Growth Initiative, now under which Japan will support the establishment of 1,000 biogas and organic fertilizer plants across India.
The summit also witnessed the signing of more than 129 memorandums of understanding across emerging sectors, including batteries, pharmaceuticals, biotechnology, mobility, financial services, and internet governance, marking 75 years of diplomatic relations. India and Japan also announced that 2027 will be celebrated as the India-Japan Year of Shared Horizons, featuring a series of cultural, economic, scientific, and people-to-people exchanges.
The summit also provided fresh impetus to defense cooperation. Both sides agreed to convene the 4th India-Japan 2+2 ministerial meeting in Tokyo later this year, while expanding cooperation in defense manufacturing, maritime security, military exercises, and defense technology.
India and Japan have also agreed to deepen cooperation under the Quad, aligning Japan's updated free and open Indo-Pacific strategy with India's Mahasagar initiative and enhancing maritime security coordination. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi reaffirmed their commitment to a free, open, inclusive, and rules-based Indo-Pacific during the 16th annual summit. The declaration comes even as the United States dropped Indo from its Pacific Command.
And for more, we're now being joined by Punendra Jain from Adelaide, Australia. He's an emeritus professor at Adelaide University and president of JSAA. Thank you so much, Professor Jain, for making time for us today. Now, we understand that for the much of the past 2 decades, India and Japan have been described as natural partners. But looking at the agenda today from, defense and semiconductors to AI and resilient supply chains, it does feel as though the relationship has entered a very different phase. Now, in your assessment, Professor Jain, has the partnership fundamentally matured, or is it being reshaped by a changing geopolitical landscape here?
Thank you very much to invite me to the show. To answer your question, I think it's both. The relationship has matured, but at the same time, the geostrategic situation and the strategic environment in the region, they have changed quite dramatically. And in that context, both India and Japan become much more attractive to each other than in the past. Of course, they are natural partners in many senses, but the partnership has matured and has diversified in a range of new areas. For example, in the past, the relationship was essentially driven by Japan's aid to India for large projects, for social development projects, and so on and so forth. But in the last 4 or 5 years, what we have seen that ODA or aid projects, they are still important, but there are new areas in defense, in security, in emerging technology, energy security, all those areas which have been actually covered in the joint statement which Prime Ministers of the 2 nations, Mr. Modi and Ms. Takaichi, they issued yesterday. So we are seeing diversification in new areas, new technologies, and defense cooperation actually stands out as one of the key components of the new relationship, if you like.
Also, Professor, both their prime ministers, they have affirmed their commitment to a free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific. Specifically, they've mentioned. To what extent do you think, how broad is this going? And of course, is this intended to send a message to China, for example?
Yes, this free, open, and inclusive. Inclusive term, the Indian side prefers that inclusive term much more than the Japanese side. Because when under Prime Minister Abe, they announced FOIP, or Free and Open Indo-Pacific, there was no adjective like inclusive. But India's view is that it should be inclusive, it should not exclude anyone. And in that context, it becomes much more wider, much more inclusive. But the question about China is an important one, and a complex one. At the moment, Japan-China relations are going through lots of strains. I think they have hit the rock bottom in their relationship. On the other hand, we see China-India relationship is improving or has improved, and there is communication, there is dialogue going on between the two sides, whereas dialogue and communication are almost broken between Japan and India. But at the same time, we must acknowledge that China is a concern to both countries, both because of China's expanding military footprint in the region, as well as China's economic influence, in particular economic coercion. That is, China at times uses trade or economic relationship as a weapon to hold hostage to the other country or its bilateral partner. So that aspect, I think Japan is very much focused that we should not allow any country to hold hostage to economic relationship. And in that context, economic security has been one of the highlights of the summit between the two prime ministers.
Right, Professor Jain, and of course the summit took place with the background of a lot of geopolitical uncertainty, but also this economic weaponization you mentioned, and Japan's FOIP and India's Mahasagar initiative. Both of them have placed maritime security and regional connectivity at the very heart of this partnership. Now, as the strategic interests converge and also the the threat perception, how significant is this alignment in shaping the future of Indo-Pacific in your in your assessment?
I think it's very important. I mean, let's accept this. India and Japan, Japan has got certain limitations and what it can do in defense areas, because the constitution of Japan prohibits Japan from maintaining war potential, even maintaining any defense forces. That's why Japan's defense forces is known as the self-defense force. So it's just for defending the country. But in recent years, Japan has kind of made new policies which now allow Japan to have deeper and stronger defense cooperation with like-minded countries like India or Australia, beyond the traditional or conventional ally that is the United States. And under these new policies, now Japan is trying to export arms or defense related equipment to partner countries. And in that context, I think it's important to highlight here, and perhaps your story has been highlighting about in this agreement, there is an in-principle agreement that Japan will provide technology, what they call unicorn radar system, which will have a better radio antenna system fitted on the Indian naval ships. So that is a significant development, and I guess that there will be more such defense cooperation taking place. At the same time, we know that Japan and India, they have been conducting a number of defense-related exercises, whether it is JIMEX, which is the Japan-India naval exercise, through the Malabar exercise. And now in recent years, they are also, the air forces of two countries are also exercising. So in the defense and security areas, we see a range of new activities and actions and cooperation and partnerships taking place between India and Japan. But we must keep in mind that Japan has got its own limitations, and India and Japan's partners have to work within those limitations as reflected in the Japanese constitution and its legislation.
You mentioned, of course, defense, and we also talked about economic weaponization. Coming back to the Indo-Pacific, we know that U.S. had dropped Indo from its Pacific Command. So, would you see this as, Japan and India trying to show a third leg in the Quad?
I think in the context that there has been no leaders level summit since 2024, since the second Trump administration, it has given a bit of a setback to the Quad process. At the same time that the spirits of other three countries, namely India, Japan, and Australia, they have not dampened. So they're trying to do something. So what is happening that the Quad meeting takes place at the moment with the foreign ministers of these four countries. But India and Japan, as well as Australia, they are committed to the idea and the principles which are reflected in the Quad. So hopefully they will continue, and India and Japan, of course, are the two important legs, and Australia will be together with Japan and India on that situation. But at the same time, we must admit that without a leaders level summit, it is very difficult for these countries to move the agenda ahead and give it a little further boost.
Absolutely, Professor Jain. And as the world becomes increasingly multipolar, India and Japan, they continue to find common ground, be it in terms of their strategic alignment or, of course, their economic or technological avenues. And for now, we'll have to wait and see how this, equation further nurtures ahead. But for now, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast, Professor Jain, and sharing your perspective
You're
with
right.
us.
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. Thanks.
It has been 24 days since anti-government protests began in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir.
And now the Joint Awami Action Committee leader has dropped a massive claim about the Pakistani army. Sardar Aman Khan, the leader in POK, has said that Pakistan army have guns to Kashmiris. Khan made this revelation at a rally of over 80,000 people in Rawalakot.
It was the Pakistan army itself that handed guns to Kashmiris, and today they have the audacity to call us terrorists. Deputy Commissioner Rawalkot, you used to organize rallies here with guns and swords. Do you remember? And you will call us terrorists? All these people are heirs of this land.
The attendees were seen applauding loudly to statements made by the GAAC leader. Khan's remarks about Pak army pushing weapons into Jammu and Kashmir shed fresh light on state-sponsored terrorism infrastructure.
Well, protests continue in POK over a series of demands that the JAC and thousands of demonstrators want met. Khan has also said that POK is not a part of Pakistan and that the country needs to the region, not the other way around.
The Joint Awami Action Committee has threatened to march thousands of people towards Muzaffarabad if the government does not meet its list of 38 demands. Khan also said that the demands will then shift to one single ask that Islamabad vacate POK completely.
Now, demonstrations began last month over demands of greater economic justice and equitable political representation in Pakistan. But unrest and violence has marred these protests, which have only intensified with each passing day. Well, the world is being sold a $2.5 trillion space story. Look closer and the rockets barely show up.
The number comes from a McKinsey source chart that is not published by NASA or a space agency, but by global and exchange-traded fund provider. The ETF firm's own footnote admits the point. Investors aligned with these sectors stand to benefit. Break down the McKinsey chart and the picture changes fast.
Supply chain and transportation, over $500 billion. Food and beverage logistics, over $400 billion. Retail and consumer goods, over $200 billion. Now, the category actually labels space, rockets, satellites, and launch. It sits at the bottom of the list, under $100 billion. McKinsey's original report, done with the World Economic Forum, is more careful. It splits the space economy into backbone, which is the hardware, the satellites, and the launches, and reach as the industries that merely use satellite data. In 2023, backbone and reach were roughly even at about $300 billion. By 2035, reach is projected to pull far ahead, crossing $1 trillion, while backbone grows to $755 billion.
Now that distinction matters. Uber uses GPS is reach. A grocer tracking a delivery truck is reach. An insurer pricing flood risk from satellite imagery is reach. And none of that is new industry. It's just all industry being relabeled with a space tag.
Well, semiconductors, AI and clean energy have all seen their addressable markets inflated the same way. By counting every downstream user as part of the sector, it's a well-worn method for building bigger, more fundable numbers.
And none of this means space is not growing. Launch costs have fallen tenfold in 2 decades. Satellite deployment is up. But the $1 trillion headline is doing more marketing work than reporting work. When the fastest growing slice of an industry never leaves the ground, the number is not measuring the industry. It's just measuring who wants you invested in it. Microsoft has launched a new business to help companies choose, build, and deploy the AI tools best suited to their needs.
Now, the move reflects a growing shift away from relying on a single AI model towards combining multiple AI systems for enterprise use. The new business, called Microsoft Frontier Company, will start with $2.5 billion in funding. Its first customers include Unilever and Novo Nordisk. Microsoft said that the new unit will help organizations select, integrate, and customize AI models using their own internal data.
The company said customers will be able to use AI models from Microsoft as well as other providers. The aim is to give businesses the flexibility to switch between different AI models rather than depending on a single platform. Microsoft also said customers will retain ownership of the AI solutions developed instead of handing that knowledge back to Microsoft.
The 7th installment of A Spy Universe Alpha is releasing today.
And the female-led entry is directed by debutant Shiv Ravai and produced by Aditya Chopra. The film follows an assassin who seeks to take down her stepfather's illicit soldier program, only to come in conflict with another assassin. Alia Bhatt and Sharvadi lead as the two agents, with Anil Kapoor as Colonel Vikrant Kaul and Bobby Deol as the antagonist rounding out the principal cast. Alpha marks the first female-led film in the spy universe, distinguishing it from the male-fronted films that build the franchise, and pits its two women leads against each other rather than alongside a male protagonist.
Hrithik Roshan reprises his role as Major Kabir Dhaliwal in a special appearance, with the two agents seeking his help to complete their mission. Well, the film ties into the broader shared universe launched by Ek Tha Tiger and expanded through War, Pathan and Tiger 3. Most recently continued by War 2 in August 2025.
Now, Portugal have set up a titanic showdown with European champion Spain after they have battled into the last 16 with a drama-filled victory over Croatia.
Goncalo Ramos headed Portugal into the lead in the 4th minute of stoppage time before Croatia saw a last gasp equalizer rolled out for offside in Toronto. Earlier, Cristiano Ronaldo had helped haul his team back into the contest, sparing a 68th minute penalty to cancel out Croatia's 53rd minute opener. Later, Ronaldo joined frenzied celebrations after Ramos glanced home a sensational header deep into injury time to give Portugal the lead. But they were left stunned when Croatia prodded home an apparent equalizer in stoppage time. Yet there was one final twist when the goal was chalked off for offside after a lengthy VAR review.
Earlier, a brace from Mikel Oyarzabal and a header from Pedro Porro secured the victory as Spain has outclassed Austria 3-0. Now, the winning margin could have been even greater with a disallowed goal and a free kick that hit the woodwork. Spain gradually ratcheted up this pressure during the first half, and Austria's defense finally buckled in the 36th minute. Pedri pinged a ball out to the left for Marc Cucurella, whose cross was calmly side-footed past the keeper by Oyarzabal. Now, for the break, Spain kept knocking on the door and doubled their lead in the 66th minute as Porro headed home his first goal for Spain. In the 89th minute, another Cucurella cross found a completely unmarked Oyarzabal in the penalty area, and he slotted the ball home to complete his brace and wrap up a comfortable 3-0 victory.
That's all we had for you in this edition of World DNA. But before we slip into a very short break, here's a reminder to our viewers in India. You can watch all 2026 FIFA World Cup matches on ZEE5. Tune in and catch all the action live.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis.